To be living elemental is to be living a more balanced life. I'm your host, Sara and the founder of Jade Scott Design. Through my interior design studio and Feng Shui practice, I awaken clients to the idea that their home is just as essential to their well-being as is to their mind and bodies. Essentially, nature's elements create balance and support, and through the lens of home, we can utilize their power when applied intentionally. Through this podcast, it is my intention to open you up to the idea that by living elemental through mind, body, and spirit will have a significant impact on your home and your life. I'm actually recording my last episode here in my home office in Pittsburgh. My home office is so special to me. One, I'm grateful to even have one because I know a lot of people, especially during the pandemic, were really restricted with their living space and, might have been working from their dining room table or in their bedroom on their bed. So I don't take it for granted. There's really something special about this home in general, but also uh, my home office. I really like it. This is where I started my business. Previously, it was my children's playroom because it's right off the kitchen and dining room. So I don't know, there's something bittersweet. As I'm talking into the microphone, I'm sort of looking around the room and feeling a little emotional. So that's a really great segue into today's conversation because I'm talking about transitioning and letting go. We are leaving the earth element behind. Those summer nights that we don't want to end is signature earth element, just like leaving the comfort of home or babies not wanting to leave the comfort of their mother, right? Mother Earth and mothering in general is characteristic of the earth element. But all things must keep moving. And with the 5-element cycle, we are leaning into the phase of metal. So how can we push ourselves into the metal element with a little bit of ease? Because one of the challenges of the earth element is we don't always like change. And so we can sometimes stay a bit stagnant if we're not really aware of that. But I will say, I think most people really enjoy the energy of fall and enjoy the decorating aspect along with the scents and sights of fall, especially if you're in an area where you get that significant change of season and scenery. So I just have a few things I want to share about easing into the metal element. I actually have a ton to do as our pod storage container is getting picked up tomorrow. So I'm going to make this a short episode. Hopefully you'll have some takeaways from it. So metal is all about refining, organizing, cutting out what's not working, and simply letting go. And there's so many ways we can look at these characteristics per se. In our homes, we can use the support at this time in helping us to declutter. And I talk about decluttering a lot. It's insane the amount of things that we hold on to. And I am like a pro declutter. I am always getting rid of things. And I have to tell you, this process of moving, it's just phenomenal to me. The amount of things we still hold on to. And a lot of it is never used, taking up space in our homes, in our life. So I am on like a huge letting go session right now. And it's just crazy to me that seasonally it just works out in this way, but I shouldn't be surprised. So as I just mentioned, we had purchased, or I guess rented, one pod for moving, and what doesn't fit isn't coming with us. We've actually sold and donated a ton of our items that we were simply ready to let go of. Most of our furniture is staying with the house because the new buyers actually wanted to purchase a lot of the pieces. But what they didn't keep, we've actually sold or donated. The more traditional look of my furniture isn't really going to work in our new place and really the new environment. We're going from a 1950s red brick traditional colonial to, a 2021 new build custom home. So our furniture just simply isn't going to work. And so it feels good and it feels right to let it all go. Plus, most of the furniture we had are from when the kids were babies, right? So we're talking about Cheerios and milk and chocolate, even their own beds. It's funny. My daughter is 8, but she still was sleeping on her transition mattress. It was like a low profile 5-inch mattress from when she transitioned out of a crib. And I thought, oh my gosh, she is totally ready for a normal size bed. So we sold her whole bedroom suite, and she's looking forward to getting something new. There's this theme of new beginning with the sale of our home too. So new things can't really come to us without, letting go. I also like to use the energy of metal to help me get focused and bring a sense of order to my life and my business. This is a great time to take a look at your financials. We tend to be a little more relaxed in the summer. Maybe we've been overspending or maybe just a little more carefree in our spending. Um, we have the holidays coming up. So, really getting focused and organized so that you're not continuing to overspend on gifts and parties and all the social things. This is a really great time to sort of organize all of that. If you have a business, this is a great time to look at not just your financials, but also where you could be making some cuts in your marketing or your coaching or your programs or your mentorship groups. What isn't working for you anymore? Who or what are you not resonating with? Are you paying for programs and subscriptions to things that you're not really using? I can tell you a year ago, I was invested in a lot of different programs. But since taking this opportunity, not just with the move, but to really kind of discern what I want to take with me as far as Jade Scott design goes. That is also in a state of sort of evolution, I would say. So just really discerning, what do I want to stay in? Who do I want to be supported by? Who is no longer supporting me? The metal element is also supportive of the helpful people area of the home, which, if you're not familiar, I did a whole series on the Bagua map and how each area of your home is playing out some way in your life. And metal supports that helpful people. So, really looking at your groups, your social networks, your business networks. Who is supportive? Who is not? Who is no longer resonating? Just simply taking the time to evaluate if it's still a good fit. So, moving on, I do want to touch on one thing here, and that is to remember that all of the elements, there are 5 of them, they are derived or broken further down from yin and yang energies. So the goal here is to always be striving for some sort of balance. You have to have both the yin and the yang energy. So even though we can utilize metal to be extremely discerning and detailed, also remember that there's an opposite to that. So be mindful to not get obsessive, rigid, strive for perfection. Those are opposite end of the spectrum when it comes to metal element. In fact, metal personality types, for example, when they're out of balance, they can tend to be a bit extreme. They can be controlling or dominating. They might be really picky and usually very highly critical of others, but even more so themselves. So just be aware of this and don't let it stop you from discerning and getting organized and cutting things out. Just don't get too rigid in your practice doing so. So you certainly want to bring the metal into the home. Earlier this year, I did a bonus episode on the metal element itself. So that's a really great one to listen to for more on this topic. And I'll actually link it in the show notes from today's episode. But some really quick tips for the home could be maybe just moving around some of your objects or furnishings for the home. Maybe look around and see where there's too much wood or fire elements playing out. So, for example, maybe you have a lot of wood furniture in your family room with a fireplace and wood paneling on the walls, right? That's probably a lot of yang energy in that space. So you could bring in maybe some metal elements, metal tables or art in metal frames. That will help balance it out because remember, metal is the beginning of the yin phase. So bringing yin energy to those yang, fire, wood elements is going to help balance things in the home. And of course, the last thing I want to mention is bringing the outdoors in, really using nature to support. Anytime we can bring nature into our home, we're setting ourselves up and our homes for really good energy. Again, metal is that fall season. I don't know very many people who do not love decorating at this time of year. It kicks off with maybe a few pumpkins and mums on the front porch. Then, of course, Halloween decor, and then settling into the season of winter and holiday time. Open the windows, let those first cooler days filter through the home. Nature is your ultimate space clearer. I talk about space clearing and using smudge and incense, and that's all great, but nature does it best. Open those windows and air it out. I love the smell of all the fallen leaves. I actually had a moment just a few days ago. I let the dog out and there was just a few leaves falling. It was just so quiet and beautiful. And the smell, I was so mindful in that moment. I was proud of myself for being so aware to just take it in because I don't know if I'm going to have that in Texas. I don't know what their spring and their fall is like. So I was proud of myself for being mindful in that moment. I love that smell. And doing a fall simmer pot on the stove, just having that simmer on low with your cinnamon and your clove and citrus fruits. It's one of my favorite things. I've actually also just switched from traditional espresso to chai tea lattes, and those have me feeling super cozy. They really are perfect for the season. And that's it. I hope that you will take some time in the next few weeks to get your home, your life, or your business in order. Do not be afraid of cutting away what's not needed any longer. This is the time to do it. I know I certainly will be. We are pulling out of our driveway this coming Sunday, October 8th, and I'm excited. I'm looking forward to a whole new home to get to learn in Feng Shui. And just a note that the shop will be unavailable during my transition. I'm hoping it will only be that way for a few weeks, but I will keep you updated when it's back up and running. You can always reach out to me through my website, jadescottdesign.com. That will stay live, just the shop will be hidden. Once I get settled in, the website will also be getting some updated information, especially as far as design work goes. But you can still reach out regarding a Feng Shui consultation. I will be available for getting things scheduled in November. In the meantime, please subscribe, rate, and review so I know you're out there listening. Until next time, which will be from Austin, Texas, much love and gratitude.